Once upon a time, nestled in a cozy little cottage, lived a husband and wife who wished for nothing more in the world than to have a child. Their little home stood right next to a magnificent garden filled with the most beautiful flowers and the most delicious-looking vegetables you could ever imagine. But this garden wasn't just any garden. It belonged to a powerful and feared witch named Dame Gothel. One sunny afternoon, as the wife looked out her window, her eyes landed on a patch of lush green leaves in the witch's garden. It was a plant called Rapunzel, and it looked so fresh and tempting that a powerful craving swept over her. This craving grew stronger and stronger with each passing hour, until she felt she would surely waste away if she couldn't have some. She turned to her husband, her eyes filled with desperation, and said, "My love, I must eat some of that Rapunzel from the witch's garden, or I feel I will not survive." Seeing his wife so distressed, the husband's heart ached. He loved her more than anything, and he couldn't bear to see her suffer. So, as twilight fell and a blanket of stars covered the sky, he decided to do something incredibly risky. He summoned all his courage, climbed over the high wall, separating their home from the garden, and quickly grabbed a handful of the Rapunzel leaves. He rushed back to his wife, who immediately made a salad and ate it with great delight. But instead of satisfying her craving, the taste only made her want more. "Oh, it was so wonderful," she sighed. "But I need more. I need twice as much as before." The husband knew it was dangerous, but he couldn't deny her. The following night, under the cloak of darkness, he crept back into the witch's garden. He carefully gathered another bundle of the green leaves, but just as he was about to climb back over the wall, a shadowy figure appeared before him. It was Dame Gothel, her eyes glowing with fury. "How dare you?" she shrieked, her voice like cracking ice. "You sneak into my garden like a common thief and steal my Rapunzel." The man trembled from head to toe. "Please," he stammered, falling to his knees. "Have mercy. My wife is expecting a child, and she saw your Rapunzel from her window. She developed such a longing for it that she believed she would perish without it." The witch's expression softened just a little. She looked at the terrified man and made a chilling proposition. "Very well," she said coolly. "You may take all the Rapunzel you want, but on one condition. When the child is born, you must give it to me." Fearing for his life, the man saw no other choice. He blindly agreed to the witch's demand. And so, a few months later, when his wife gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, the witch appeared as promised. She named the child Rapunzel, after the very plant that had led to this fateful bargain, and whisked her away. Rapunzel grew to be the most beautiful child under the sun, with long, magnificent hair as fine as spun gold. When she turned 12, the witch, determined to hide her away from the world, took her deep into a forest. There, in a clearing, stood a tall, imposing tower with no doors and no stairs, only a single room at the very top with one small window. This tower became Rapunzel's home and her prison. Whenever the witch wanted to visit, she would stand at the bottom of the tower and call out in her sing-song voice, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Hearing her call, Rapunzel would unpin her magnificent golden braids, which had grown incredibly long over the years, and let them tumble down from the window. The hair was so long and strong that it reached all the way to the ground, and the witch would climb up it like a rope. For years, this was the only way anyone could enter the tower. And Rapunzel knew no other life, her only companion the witch who had taken her. She spent her days singing with a voice so enchanting it could stop travelers in their tracks, her beautiful melodies echoing through the lonely forest. One day, a prince was riding through the forest when he heard a song so lovely it captivated his heart. He followed the sound and came upon the mysterious tower. He rode around it again and again, but he could find no door and no way to get in. The beautiful voice had enchanted him, and he returned to the forest every day, hoping to catch another glimpse of the singer. One afternoon, as he hid behind a tree, he saw an old woman approach the tower. He watched in amazement as she called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," and a cascade of golden hair fell from the window above. He watched as the witch climbed up, and he finally understood the secret of the tower. He waited for his chance. The next evening, as dusk began to settle, he went to the tower and imitated the witch's call. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The golden braids tumbled down, and the prince began to climb. When he reached the top and stepped into the room, Rapunzel was startled. She had never seen a man before, but the prince spoke to her with a gentle voice, telling her how her singing had touched his soul and how he could not rest until he had seen her. Rapunzel's fear slowly melted away, and as he spoke, she found herself drawn to his kind eyes and warm smile. When he asked her to be his wife, she looked at him and thought, "He will love me more than old Dame Gothel does." She agreed, and they made a plan. "Bring a skein of silk with you each time you visit," she said. "I will weave it into a ladder, and when it is finished, I will climb down and we can escape on your horse together." So the prince visited her every evening, for the witch only came during the day. Their secret was safe for a while, but one day Rapunzel forgot herself and said to Dame Gothel without thinking, "Tell me, Dame Gothel, why is it that you are so much heavier to pull up than the young prince? He is with me in a moment." The witch gasped in fury. "You wicked child!" She screamed, "I thought I had separated you from all the world, and yet you have deceived me." In a fit of rage, she grabbed a pair of scissors and snip, snap, the beautiful golden braids fell to the floor. She was so merciless that she then took poor Rapunzel to a desolate wasteland and left her there to live in great grief and misery. That same evening, the witch took the severed braids and tied them to the window hook. When the prince arrived and called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," she let the hair down. The prince climbed up, full of hope, but instead of his beloved Rapunzel, he was met by the vengeful eyes of the witch. "Aha!" she cackled. "You came for your dearest, but the beautiful bird sits no longer in the nest, and she sings no more.